You probably don't know this chess player, but it's a lot to learn from his games. His name is Rashid Nezhmetdinov, and he was a Soviet Union chess master who played even more aggressively than Mikhail Tal in his best ages. Today, I want to break down one his game, and we'll learn a lot of new ideas, strategical, tactical ideas. Let's go together and dive deep inside. He played as black, and after e4, e5, basically the game came to the very widely known two knights opening, and after knight g5, he played d5, e takes d5. That's, well, the main theory. And here he played knight e5, which is the best line here, according to the theory. By the way, I have a very exciting video on my YouTube channel about the b5 gambit. Take a look, that's very interesting for black. I will leave the link below the video. So knight goes to a5, he preferred. Bishop b5, that's all the theory, right? c6, takes, bishop e2. The black's idea is that they sacrifice the pawn, but they're ready to have advantage in development and play this quite aggressively. So that's why h6 to kick out the knight, knight e3, e4, knight e5, bishop d6, trying to gain a tempo on each move to attack white pieces. d4 seems the only logical move to protect the knight. E takes, en passant, knight takes d3, queen c7. The idea of queen c7 move is just to make white's life not so easy, like to force them to play h3, for example, before the castle, and it could be like castle, in this position, castle, and c5. I can say that Engine even assessing this position as better for black because they're more active. I want to play c4, quite widely known idea for these positions to expose space and get initiative. So despite white has an extra pawn, they could easily get bet here. To be honest, the main theoretical move is b3, which is highlighted here, and that's a very interesting position after the castle, like bishop b2, for example. Black has some interesting moves, like I can play bishop f5, for example, right? So interesting position with obviously a compensation for black. But in that game, white decided to play knight e2, which is basically not the best option here. So bishop a6, knight goes to f3, castle short. The problem of white's position that they are delaying the castle, so the king could get stuck in the center. White tried to play b3, looks quite logical anyway. They need to put the bishop somewhere, and b2 looks like a nice spot. But anyway, if they will do the castle, as we already know, c5 is works good in this position. So white tried to play b3, and what to do is black here. It's quite a key moment in now. We still can play c5. It looks quite interesting, but Nezhmetdinov firstly decided to keep some tension and improve the pieces. So he played rook a d8 in this position. I love such moves. You're not forcing the things, you're not trying to use your compensation immediately, but you're bringing out your pieces to the best positions and you're getting ready for some breakthrough. Because after the castle, it still played rook e8. It's really annoying for white because we're not doing something strong, looks like, but we're still improving the position and we're getting better here. White made a mistake by playing rook e1 here. Better for sure was to play bishop b2 in this position. After like c5, I'm still ready for this. I don't care about bishop takes f6, g takes f6, for example c4 to prevent our c4, and bishop b7. I will return my knight to c6. I have a pair of bishops. You will never get my king, so in fact he is not weak. I only can play like king h8, rook g8, or king h7, rook g8 at some moment to use the g line for my own gameplay. In fact, if white's trying to play c4 immediately, okay, who cares? Knight goes to c6. I'm still good in this position. I can transpose my bishop to b7. Then somehow I can use these squares to my knights. I believe in my compensation, especially because of my very nice rooks. So, but anyway, that was better for white because they did a mistake. After rook e1, black has an aggressive approach immediately. That's the time to attack. And Nezhmetdinov played knight g4 in this position. His opponent here didn't recognize his tactical issue, and he played an obvious move h3, which looks logical because black wanted to take on h2. But now the punish is here. Knight takes f2. We are coming to this position and we are having a winning approach, winning combination, to be honest. The point is that in case of knight takes f2, now in here we have bishop goes h2 check. Knight takes h2, right? Let's get a look to this position, takes, and now basically if rook takes d1, I can take the bishop on e2, but if knight takes d1 trying to save it, I still can take on e2, right? Takes, bishop takes e2, and we have extra queen, extra material, and absolutely winning position. So it's still not working for white. So they're basically forced to take with the king on f2, right? What to do else? But now queen b6. A very nice move, which basically I believe white blundered. The idea after king f1, we're playing with our bishop to g3, and we are using the bad position of the king. That is a kind of a zugzwang for white, to be honest. I can return some material by taking on e1 whenever I want, to be honest. If white will try to play something like bishop b2, saying we don't care, we need to develop, then rook takes d3, obviously, right? Because on bishop takes d3, I have the checkmate on f2. So that's absolutely attacking position for black. And white needs to create something to prevent rook d3. So that's why they play queen d2, with the idea to face the rook d3 move with the bishop takes d3, and now this square is protected by the queen. So it's not a checkmate. But Nezhmetdinov didn't take care about this. He just played c5 in this position. Another strong move. He's just keeping attacking, and attacking. The idea is that, like after bishop b2, for example, I just want to play straightforward c4. And after b takes c4, I'm ready to play knight takes c4, right? And again, what to do? If queen c3, then I even can play here. I don't know, king g1. And in this position, I can do, I think, whatever, basically. So maybe I can even play knight d1 or knight f5 check, right? So king h1, and computer proposed here rook c8. So like absolutely winning position. Yeah, that's really nice. The idea after queen d2, we just can take on e1, and after take on e1, I can just take on e2 surprisingly, and take on e2, knight g3 check. Very nice tactical approaches. I love to analyze chess positions, I would be honest with you. So that brings me the satisfaction. So c5 is the very nice approach, which creates the idea to play c4, because we need to enroll the knight to the game. And after c4, b takes c4, knight c4, he would be there on the field. White played c4 by their own, trying to prevent this. But now we are ready to take back. A bit takes, and knight goes c4 here. The final approach. If we can't enroll this knight to the game quickly, we can sacrifice him to destroy, demolish the position of white. After b takes, bishop takes c4. Now we want to take on d3, so king needs to go back from the pin, but now takes on d3 still. I need to admit that in case of king f1, it's not changing the things, right? I now can go rook takes c2, queen takes c2, bishop takes d3. Still absolutely winning for black. So after king f2, it's still winning. Takes, c4 check, king g3, rook takes d3. Yeah, now we are going to the checkmate. So after queen b2, queen g6 check, king f2, the king is easy target. And in a few moves, after queen e4, bishop d2, rook takes f3, the final combination, g takes, queen h4. White decided to stop. White decided to resign, because after king g2, for example, I can play rook e2, and I don't know, after king g1, I have queen g3, whatever, king h1, queen h2, checkmate. So that's an absolutely winning position. So in this game, we saw how we can play for the compensation, how we can keep the initiative and develop our position. And as well, nice and cute combinations. I hope that you enjoyed this. Don't forget to type your comment below the video, press like, and see you soon on my new episodes.